but in the shadows, the whole world's controlled by the same force, and it's that which is able to understand the way the human computer works, the way the human mind works, the way the human emotions work. At that hidden shadow level, that center of the web level, they know that this is all an illusion, that this is a holographic illusion that only exists in our head, and that therefore they can manipulate what we think, our emotional state, and how we see the world and ourselves, because they understand how the computer works. It's basically like if you get a new personal computer, you stick it on the desk. You don't know anything about computers. What do? You know, you turn it on. You might find out on a switch and flick it about a bit, and you might find this and open this and what's this, and it's all very limited. And then a computer programmer walks in who knows absolutely how that computer works, and he can do anything on it. That analogy sums up the human plight, in the sense that this is a holographic biological computer, and the vast majority of people in the world have no idea it's even a computer, never mind how it really works and where their thoughts and emotions are coming from and how they're manifesting reality. But the spider in the center of the web does, and it has structured society, it has structured communication, it has constructed the information that we're receiving in the computer, which we're downloading, to impose upon us a completely false reality that allows us to be computer-like sheep rather than the infinite genius we really are, if we could only break out of this computerized control that's been imposed upon us. So the spider is not operating with the same level of knowledge that we are, not least because, although this knowledge existed in the far ancient world, the spider has manipulated events so that that knowledge has been sucked out of mainstream society and held only by the few that pass it on through the highest, and I mean highest, levels of the secret society network. And so making people aware of this knowledge of the nature of reality, the nature of who we are, is fundamental to setting people free of the control that they're being subjected to. Because, you know, we can work on the level of banking scams, political scams, manipulated wars, manipulated 9/11s, and we should, because we need to know that. But if that's all we're doing in terms of communicating knowledge, then basically we're operating in a cycle of this is the problem, but how the hell do we get out of this? We will never know how to set ourselves free until we understand the nature of who we bloody well are. How do you set yourself free when you don't even know you are? How do you set yourself free when you don't even know the nature of reality that you're living in and manifesting and making happen without your knowledge that you're making it happen? You can't. So alongside the information about, the 5 sense level of this conspiracy, if you like, we have to just as powerfully, I would say more powerfully, communicate the nature of reality and how we are creating our reality and how we are allowing it to be created for us by having ourselves programmed with certain beliefs, certain perceptions, and all the rest of it all the time. The two must go together, otherwise, we're never going to get out of this. And so it's a big task to get the stuff out, but because you're not telling people anything they don't already know. If I tell you that's a computer and you are infinite consciousness, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. I'm telling you what you've forgotten. Because what happens is you come into this world and with this knowledge suppressed, it's like someone once said, You imagine you come into the world and someone tells you that 2 equals 5. Your parents tell you that from the earliest age, 2 and 2 equals 5. You then go to kindergarten and nice teachers tell you that 2 and 2 equals 5. You then go to school and teachers at junior school, senior school, they tell you 2 and 2 equals 5. By now, all your mates who've been through the same system, they're telling you 2 and 2 equals 5, and if you say it equals 4, they laugh at you. You then go to university, and professors with letters after the name, and moustaches, they say 2 and 2 equals 5, you know. Oh, no, 2 equals 4. No, I've been doing this 50 years. I've met all the best brains in the world. It equals 5. That boy will not go far. And then you turn the telly on, and someone's going, good evening, 2 and 2 equals 5. Now the weather, right? There's a good chance that you'll go through the whole of your life believing 2 and 2 equals 5, but it still equals 4. And what this information about the nature of reality is doing, basically it's saying, do you remember 2 and 2, 4? Oh, yes! And this is why this has such an impact on people. When they hear it, something goes, this is true. This is true, because they're remembering it. We are in a world in which the vast majority of the population is in an amnesic state. They are in a hypnotic trance because they have been implanted with false information about themselves and the world ever since they arrived. It's all an illusion. And it's an illusion that we can enjoy, or it's an illusion that can control us. But what has happened is that we have forgotten that we are the dream and the dreamer. And the dream has taken over. And the dream has led us to believe that we are a part. We think in terms of parts, not whole. We think in terms of David Icke, not infinite consciousness. And therefore, we've got caught in an illusory trap of division. And symbolized by this picture. It talked about, think of an eddy or whirlpool in a river. It's part of the river, but it's in a different state of reality. It's not flowing with the river, it's in its own little world. And as it said, as long as the circumstances remain the same, that eddy will just keep going round and round and round and round. Only when the circumstances change, the flow changes, will it become flowing back into the river again and become the oneness. And when it started, this voice started talking to me, it opened up by saying, there's only one thing you really need to know. Infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. And in my mind, I went to say everything, and I got halfway through it said, everything else is illusion. Because what it was saying was, the only truth is the existence of this infinite one consciousness, which is all loving, all knowing, all wise, the harmonious amalgamation of all. Everything else is the imagination of that consciousness made manifest, illusion. We have a dream and we wake up and we say, oh, I had this amazing dream. Well, the only difference between that and this is we believe this dream is real. And of course, in the dreams, when we fall off the edge of cliffs, we just wake up, we're alright. We don't get splattered on the rocks because it's just a dream. But we do here because we believe in the limitations of this dream, and therefore we experience the limitations of this dream.